The chair calls Tim Lambert.
Who's probably against it,
Mr. Lambert, if you would please state your name, who you represent, and if you're on, for, or against the bill. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I've got some written testimony to pass out to you on the bill, and I'm respectfully opposed to the bill. This is similar to some other things we talked about tonight, and I mentioned a case earlier that was a grandparent access case that dragged on for years. We've seen a number of these over the last many years. The adoption of this bill would dramatically expand the pool of parents who would be subject to such lawsuits. And our experience is generally that these are parents of less well means than the grandparents who sue for access or possession. And also lowering the evidentiary standard would make this detrimental in our regard. So I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, members, any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Lambert.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Chair calls Cecilia Wood. If you please state your name, who you represent, and if you're on, for, or against the bill.
Good evening again. My name is Cecilia Wood, and I am opposed to this bill. And this has kind of almost become like a tradition. We've done this through several sessions. And I will say that many things have changed since we were back here in 2015. For me, a big highlight is that I have even more grandchildren and great-grandchildren. By the end of the summer, we should have 2 more grandchildren and 2 more great-grandchildren to add. And so this is, we are not people that oppose this bill are not people that hate grandparents. We are grandparents. But unfortunately, I haven't changed my opinion on this bill. And I do think that perhaps I will admit that maybe I'm not compassionate enough because I see my grandchildren all the time. I do make my older children, I've made them mad, and from time to time, they won't let me, as my son says, babysit for free. He's made it quite clear I will never make him that mad. And so I do get to see my grandchildren, but I do that. I help. I babysit. I go to school functions. I used to go to more when you could get to Waco and back in the night, but I take the opportunities that I've been given. And in the case that I have here, again, these are excerpts from Troxel. I'm happy to provide the entire case, and it's one of the Supreme Court cases. But in Troxel, Mays Hooper, Durzap, Scheller, and even the last case that my client has given me permission to talk about the facts, but not her name or her child's name that I had. These are all circumstances not where parents, and in this bill it would be even your own child, not where the grandparents have no access to the children. These are cases that are continually being filed because the grandparents don't like the rules or the restrictions that the parents are putting on them. And again, we've talked a lot about the fundamental rights of the parents, and grandparents only have the rights that you give to them. But if the parent has the responsibility for this child, the parent should be able to tell you, I don't like it. I was very upset to find out that for years I was not allowed to give sugar to my grandchildren, but the other grandma was doing it all the time. But these aren't my children. I've raised my children. One thing I would really like to point out, because sometimes it's confusing, is that these are not conservatorship cases. This is not where you have a child that has a serious problem with drugs or is abandoning their child or leaving them alone. Those would come under other statutes, and you probably couldn't solve that problem with a Sunday afternoon ice cream or even first, third, and fifth weekends. So I do understand that those situations exist. I don't think all parents are perfect. These are parents and grandparents that are disagreeing about the parent's child, and I'm happy to take questions if anyone has any.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. Members, any questions? Okay, thank you
Thank
for your
you so
testimony.
much.